Welcome, mortals, to the Fantasy Football War Council's podcast. Here are your gods of war, Jonathan Arneson, along with Mario and Daniel Gutierrez.
Greetings, mortals, and welcome to another gathering of the Fantasy Football War Council. I'm your host, Jonathan, here to guide you through the chaos. And I'm doing that alone, once again. Next week, I should have a guest coming back on, so it'd be nice to talk to somebody else. But on today's show, we have the results of the second week of the playoffs, and some news that may or may not hurt or help your fantasy football team. So let's jump right in. Okay, in place of Patrick Mahomes' injury last week, he had his surgery on his torn ACL and LCL. Gardner Minshew stepped into the game for the Kansas City Chiefs, who left the game with a torn ACL. MRI happened on Monday. So, poor guy, poor team, just crumbling. What a shame to see a dynasty fall. Yeah, I'm totally laughing. Exactly. So, all right. Trevon Diggs' absence this season is a result of him getting hit in the head by a TV while he was installing. Yes, that is correct. Diggs was concussed by the falling TV. He said, "I was trying to be a handyman." When you make millions of fucking dollars, why are you doing something outside of your profession that you should not be doing? I expected from a Dallas Cowboy. So he returned in week 16. It was the first time since October. So, spending multiple months off because you're a dumbass. Good for you. This is a Dallas Cowboys day. I did this theme for you, Ollie. I want you to be really happy. So, the Dallas Cowboys have a 4,000-yard passer. Hey, something the Bears have never had. Two 1,000-yard receivers, absolutely crazy, and 1,000-yard rusher. What you would expect that team to be in the playoffs, heading to the Super Bowl, doing something special. No, the Dallas Cowboys have been eliminated from the playoffs, with 3 weeks to go. So, wait, back to the... Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly what we expect from the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, moving on. The NFL suspends Chargers linebacker Denzel Perryman for 2 games for what they called repeated violations of playing rules intended to protect health and safety of players, including during Sunday's game against the Dallas Cowboys. So... 2 weeks off, rest of the season. Kind of sucks. Okay, hey, back to our Cowboys bashing tour. This one's for you again, Ollie. I wrote all of this in for you. But did you know that since 2010, every single NFC team has made the playoffs except the Dallas Cowboys, which their last appearance was 1995. Yes. Before most, young fans have been even born. Back then it was VHS tapes. I very fondly remember their appearances. And, like Niners and before them, you grew up during a good age of good football. It's what really made you a fan. Yep. No, Dallas Cowboys have not been back since then because they suck. Just absolutely worse. They have the worst record right now in the NFL. And, it's sad when other teams that really, truly suck and have never been to a Super Bowl are just doing, just tremendous. Jerry Jones needs to get off the couch and stop doing what he's doing. He cannot manage this team anymore. The man just needs to give it up. Yeah, pretty bad. Okay, let's move on. So, on Sunday, DK Metcalf smacked the shit out of a fan. He originally claimed that the fan made racist comments towards him and used N-word and C-word towards his mama. And then a video was leaked of a fan like 3 seats over videotaping what was going on, and all the fan did was full name drop DK, and DK apparently didn't like that. Blame your parents, I guess. But anyway, he grabbed the fan by the wig or hair that he was wearing, pulled him down, made a comment to him, and then smacked him. Well, because of that and being caught live on TV, he was suspended for 2 games by the NFL, which he appealed and lost yesterday. So he is suspended 2 full games the rest of the remaining regular season. He will miss at no pay, which, that's going to be very costly and more than he originally thought, because at 277,000 with some change on the end per game, he's going to lose 555,552 is the 2-game cost, and then it is because of the suspension, he now will lose guaranteed money over the next 2 years of his contract, because it's the remaining 2 years of the contract. And so in 2026, he was owed $25 million guaranteed. And in 2027, $20 million. So he is voided $45 million because he decided to go smack a fan. And he had a teammate that had a theory that came out and had a theory on one of their podcasts that said he believed the fan was planted because the team didn't want to pay him the guaranteed money because he hasn't been playing like he should. So they planted the fan to, piss him off. Well, in my defense of saying something like that, you didn't have to hit him. That's all. Move on. Anyway, so let's jump into our battles. We had some amazing battles this week, being second week of playoffs. This first one,
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
I'm going to read this one really quickly. So our first battle of the evening will be quick. Like I'm being paid by the word. Sadly, I'm not. Plague of Anubis, myself, falls to Saving Ryan's Privates, 234.15 to 204.35, a 29.8 point loss that felt longer than it needed to. Rob didn't even need Josh Allen, who sleepwalked to 9.3, because the Bengals offense did the heavy lifting for him. Chase Brown and Jamar Chase dropping 34.3 and 18.4. And somehow the Saints defense decided to turn it back the clock with a ridiculous 41.65. Those divisional games, it's crazy. Solid waiver grab. But unfortunately for me, on my side, R.J. Harvey, Amarian Hampton, Kyle Pitts, they all showed up. 24 points, 20.7, and 24.2. But it was Amika Mbuka who chose violence against my lineup with a 5-point dud, while Malik Washington and Tet McMillan sat laughing hysterically on my bench. It always hurts more when your own roster betrays you. A double loss, really. Truly. So, congratulations on the big win, Rob. Our next battle was quite a doozy. Farathragna's Vengeance marched into Anunke's temple of BDSM, knew the secret password, slipped in under stealth, and straight up seized control. 244.52 to 174.58, a 69.94 point breakdown. When I say beat down, Ollie scored enough to erase Robbie's hopes entirely, while still having enough points on his bench to beat this week's banished one. Fucking crazy. Ollie must have called in every favor he's earned, because Bijan Robinson went off for 32.5. Puka Nacua detonated with 47, and Dalton Schultz added 17.5. The Texans' defense dropped 24.9. And all 5 of his IDP fired off with a minimum of 14 points each, and some of them hit up there in like 23. It was like a coordinated hit. Meanwhile, Robbie fully gave up. He tied himself up. He started yelling, "I'm over here." And no one even bothered to answer. Bo Nix scraped together 17.48. Trey Henderson was concussed, not by a TV, but, he was playing the game that he was meant to play. 2.7. Amon-Ra dipped out at 8.4, and Trey McBride put up absolute normal tight end numbers at 9.2. Congratulations, Ali. You're heading to the championship, buddy. Hey, look at that. I said that without vomiting. Check that out. All right, in our next battle for a spot in the championship, Hercules Huge Sock loaded the sock, took a full windup, and delivered the wet, sticky blow straight to the Hail Marys, who may need to say a few after this one. 226.91 to 195.6, a 31.31 point victory. Both teams showed up with monster numbers. Caleb Williams dropped 30.1, Devin Achane 23.5, and Saquon Barkley ran wild 32.4. But this matchup came down to the cruel land of what could have been, and Travis Kelce gave Ray a painful 2 points, while Hunter Henry sat on the bench staring back at 19.5 with the unanswered prayer. And that's where the extra Hail Marys come in, because losing in the second round of the playoffs always hurts more. Congratulations, Vince, heading to your second championship since joining the league only a few years ago. Must be a very Merry Christmas for you. And Ray, we shall start you off. Hail Mary, full of grace. And, I didn't put it in, but, Travis Kelce was voted into the Pro Bowl the Pro Bowl this year, with playing as crappy as he has and not being anywhere close to the top 5 in tight ends. But, hey, those Swifties carried him in. So, I guess good for you. All right. In our next battle, fighting from the far end of the bracket, the Kuiper Belt Soldiers delivered a full galactic ass whooping to our Junas Warriors, 257.7 to 218.86, a 38.84 point victory. Jose's squad came out swinging like they had nothing to lose and everything to prove. Brock Purdy dropped 40.8. Jalen Warren went nuclear with 44.9, and Brenton Strange added 17.9. George Pickens chipped in with 26.5, and hell, even Carson Schlesinger threw 23 points. I'm sorry, Daniel. For both our sakes, I had to mention it. This team stood up and said, "We will not go quietly into the night. We will not give up without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we are not the last place team." I had to steal half that quote from a really good movie. You can guess that movie. On the other side, Richard's squad actually showed up with 218. That is a very respectable score. And honestly, one that would have beaten more than half of the league this week. But that's the curse of the 3-11 team this year. Every time you show up, you just happen to run into someone bigger. Joe Burrow led the charge with 37.86. Jahmyr Gibbs followed with 19.7, and Rashid Shaheed added 15.6. And the offense did its job. Unfortunately, the IDP unit left him hanging when he needed them most. A lot of them dropped single digits, unfortunately. Big congratulations to Jose on the win. This is one of those feel-good wins because you're not in the last place trophy. You're not going for the princess this year, so that's a really good feeling. Okay. This battle has finally come. The battle of the hosts. Brother versus brother. Cain versus Abel. Daniel versus Mario. And in the week where the hosts were absolutely cursed, only one survived. Apache Gorillas took down Smitey Mighty Boss Stones in his best Lenny impression. 206.98 to 181.55. A 25.43 point beating. Daniel stands alone as the only host to pull a win this week, while Mario earns the Spartan Shield for the closest loss. We all hate that award, don't we? Daniel's squad was captained by Matthew Stafford, who was absolutely commanding with 41.28 points, following closely by his trusted receiver, Jackson Smith-Njigba, 21.6. Bucky Irving back to doing his thing, 12.9. And Harold Fannin decided this was his moment, exploding for 23.2. A well-balanced attack, like a rock to the head. On the other side, Mario's stat sheet reads like Kyler Murray's Call of Duty results. Disappointing. Drake May doing Drake May things with 33.2 points. Mario at least had a fighting chance. He also made a strong waiver grab with Kyle Monangai a few weeks back, who continues to run wild. Chicago, 15.1. Brock Bowers added 17.3, and Cortland Sutton put up solid 19.6. But in the real damage came from the stars that didn't shine. Myles Garrett, who had been a waiver wire gem for Mario, cratered at 2.5 points, and Antoine Winfield followed suit with just 2. When your heavy hitters disappear, there's no saving the week. Congratulations, Daniel, the lone host standing. Ow! And just like that, we're right back to the dreaded one host per week curse. Guys, honestly, something's got to be done because, this sucks. All right. And in our final battle of the evening, I'm an Aztec warrior came alive. Or more accurately, the owl formation dropped dead mid-flight, and the Warriors claim credit. 175.6 to 107.82. A 67.98 point annihilation. In good Christmas fashion, someone had to be chucked from the top of Nakatomi Tower. After seeing this score, Allen threw himself off, barely cracking triple digits and losing nearly 70 points. Allen is firmly locked in as the lowest scorer of the week, earning the title of the Banished One. That explains why he's currently being Hans Grubered off the building. It starts, and pretty much ends, with Jackson Dart's .92 points. When your QB records his first completion at 1 minute and 47 seconds left in the first half, things have already gone horribly wrong. Only 5 of his 13 players reached double digits. 8 failed outright, and one of them failed completely. Just absolutely nothing. A donut. This lineup never stood a chance. Meanwhile, Martin simply walked over the fallen owl, claiming victory and beating his chest in this year's brutal battle for 10th place without breaking a sweat. Congratulations on the easy win, Martin. And Alan, you're embarrassing. So, there's our battles for the second week of the playoffs, and there was some real doozies in there. Alan's the Banished One. Jess just completely annihilates Chas in a good chick fight, Conqueror of the Week, Massacre of the Week. It's pretty good. And Mario wins the Spartan Shield, so solid week. Let's move into our Loki's Lucky Finds. In tonight's Loki Lucky Finds, we find 2 players, 1 manager. Hey, that kind of sounds familiar. OP of the week is the old man Rivers, and he is OP. Ali, manager of Varathragna's Vengeance, picked him up with his 16.8 and stash him on his bench like a good man preparing to stop anybody else that needed a quarterback. This week's defensive player, the DP of the week, was Jermaine Pratt with 14 points, who also went to Ali. One manager. Ali, you killed it, man. It's no reason you're in the chip, dude. You're putting in the work. I like it. All right, so as mentioned last week, we'll count up all the pick'ems at the end of the year. I know we're not saying who's done one each week. I got to collect picks while people are on vacation. So, but we'll continue to read off mine, and let's see who wins, and let's pick them. Our first battle, Plague of Anubis, takes on the victorious Valkyries.
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
Yeah, my money is on Chas. I don't see myself doing this one. My team's just been like falling apart when I needed it most. So, but then again, if she plays Lamar Jackson, I might stand a chance. So we'll see. In our next battle, this is our championship battle. This is Hercules' Huge Sock versus Vera Thragna's Vengeance. Vince, who's only been in the league for a few seasons now, is in his second championship, and he won his first one. While Ali has been in the league for 20 seasons. This is year 21, and he has been in 2 championships. Well, he's been in a few, but he's won 2. So I believe he's won 2. Yeah, I believe he's won 2. Just, oh man, 1 against me. I have a poster that shows me losing by 4 points. It's absolutely terrible, but it hangs in my bathroom. I'm going to go Ali here. I know that's gross for me to say, and I said it without vomiting again. Check that out. But, you know, he's been in the league forever. He's put in the work, and he's having a monster season. And I just think it's sad that someone has shown up and only been in the league for a few seasons, and here he's going to pull up more chips than most people have in 20 years. So, yeah, we're going to go all in on that one. Sorry, Vince. So Vince is probably going to win and pull his second chip. So, congratulations. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Ananke's Temple of BDSM takes on the Hail Marys. Robbie versus Ray. This is actually a close battle. I was looking at matchups, and this one was really hard. I kind of wanted to, I'm 50-50 on it, but I'm going to lean Ray. I think he's going to recover from last week. He's going to go say his Hail Marys, and luck may be on his side this week. Our next battle, Saving Ryan's Privates, takes on The One. Rob versus Jess, and I believe this is our third place battle. It's hard not to say Rob. The guy has won a lot of matches this year, 11-3. He was our top seed, but Jess, who was just behind him in third place when the season started, her team's been a monster. It's the boomer bust ones. It's the Christian McCaffrey, the George Kittle. They blow up for the 30, 40 points. And, you know, it's the end of the season. I don't know. I'm going to put luck on her side. So let's go with The One. Smitey Mighty Bostones takes on Arjuna's Warriors in our Battle of the Princess. And this is a rough one. I'm going to go with Richard here. The 3-11 team, maybe he just wins that right game to not be last place, right? Go for you, Rich. Not to crack any jokes, Mario, this is kind of your game, man. Mario has been on the Princess more than anybody, and it's kind of been dubbed his trophy. So it's got some cute little mushrooms, like Super Mario mushrooms all over it to, commemorate how many times he's been on there. So we've all got a little piece of what we are. I am on that trophy, and I built a Lego toilet out of the gold Infinity Gauntlet, and put it on there as deserving. So it's right next to our Golden Princess. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Anyway, yeah, we're going to go with Richard. And our final battle, the Kuiper Belt Soldiers takes on the Apache Gorillas. And looking at the matchup, man, Daniel, your team is pretty strong, but both these teams are predicted over 200, over 210, actually. And it's going to be a battle. I mean, compared to all our other ones, our chip should be our highest one. But this will be, I think, could be the second highest scoring battle. So it's going to be a doozy. I used to say I root against Jose, and I think Jose is going to win. So maybe go Jose. But I actually looked at the matchups, and I do think that Daniel's kind of got this one. So I'm going to write Daniel here. So. All right. Well, thanks for joining me. Thanks for marching with just me. Next week, I'll have a guest back on the show, so it should be a little more banter and some jokes, but and some tears, and he might be happy. We'll see. It depends on if he wins this championship or not. But all right, tune in next week to witness who conquers who claims glory, and who is cast down, banished to the pit. Another chapter etched into the halls of Valhalla. Until next time, stand ready, mortals. The gods have spoken.
In a realm where legends rise and dreams collide, a council gathers with power as their guide. Jonathan the strategist with wisdom's might, Mario and Daniel warriors ready to ignite. Thunder roars, lightning cracks the sky, electric strings sing a battle cry. In this arena of fantasy and lore, the gods